So how do we all get through this? With a lot of prayer. I'm a big believer in prayer. There was so much uncertainty in it all, but prayer, trust in each other, recognition of the role that everyone had to play, and that's why we called our legislation the HEROES Act. Mm-hmm. The HEROES Act, so we could reward those entities and those people who got us through it all, who made our life possible on a regular basis, but even more so at the time of the pandemic. And much of that work comes through our counties, whether it's our healthcare workers, whether it's education, transportation, whether it is issues that relate to just sanitation and the rest, some cities, but some in towns, some counties. So we recognize that while the states have their role to play, and we wanted to recognize that we could not do the job unless we went directly where you know the challenges best, where there are no buffers. So people say to me, how come you were so on this subject of local government, of state and local government in this bill? And I was raised in the mayor's house. My father was mayor from when I was first grade. When I went away to college, he was still the mayor of Baltimore, Thomas D'Alessandro. When I was born, he was in Congress. That's why I feel very protective of, one of the reasons I feel very protective of the Capitol. But I know you have no buffers. People know who you are. That's right. They know who the President of the United States is, and they know who you are because their sense of community and the rest. So I'd love to talk about some aspects beyond the funding that was in the rescue package, but some of the initiatives we hope to do next, whether it's rural broadband or just broadband writ large. But we got through it with trust, with prayer, and with good public policy. And for the most part, last year, mostly everything we did was bipartisan, and I was very proud of that. I was very, very proud of that. From our first bill signed at the end of March to our last bill signed the end of December, all of the legislation.
And that leads me to one of my questions is that NACO is bipartisan, and you have been a champion for us from the CARES Act, from the HEROES Act, and now the American Rescue Plan. And you talked about your father and your brother was local elected officials.
My brother was mayor too.
So it was mayor of Baltimore. We've had a tradition at NACO on how we try to work together. Talk to us, because you've been a champion. I mean, we can give you 65 billion ways to smile at you on what you did for counties. Particularly DeKalb County was 143 million ways we can talk about it. Oh. But tell us, how does this touch us? How did the legislation go, and how did you work to make sure that American counties were whole?
Well, let me just say, with all the respect, let us praise the fact that Joe Biden was with us all the way.
Wow, yeah.
He was with us all the way. And while our bills last year were bipartisan, one of the challenges that they had, we did not have a shared, shall we say, agreement on how we would go forward with the state and local funding. And we thought that was very important, that it would be not just state funding, but the counties and localities as well. And, well, don't tell anybody I said this to you, but a lot of senators have been governors, you know what I mean? Many members of Congress have been county executives and mayors and city councilmen and all the rest of that. So from the House, we had a little bit of a different view of where some of this money should go. and the senators they cooperated, but sometimes we had some splaining to do in that. and then we got through it, but that was the main, we basically, the rescue package was the HEROES Act plus vaccines.